I'm a living while I'm living through the fire.
Join Jaedee Caines and Rohan this and every Thursday on the Caribbean's powerhouse, Von Radio, for Speak Up, a social commentary talk show that addresses the state of affairs on Nevis. Expect great conversations, different perspectives, and an all-inclusive approach to moving Nevis forward. Tune in. It's time for us to speak up.
Good evening. It is a Thursday. I think today is the 19th, and it's time for another edition of Speak Up. Of course, I'm Rohan and Jaedee Caines will join us shortly, and we are happy to be here for another edition of Speak Up. We want to thank you for joining us, and we want to thank you for sharing your views and opinions with us on Speak Up, and we are always happy to hear from you. This evening we have a wonderful show in store for you, but as usual we begin with our greetings and our welcome, and so we want to begin by extending congratulations to the Charleston Primary School, who would have captured the first ever Rams Relay Championships over in St. Kitts on the weekend past. There some excellent performances by Charleston Primary, and of course they were joined by the sister schools, the St. Thomas's Primary School, the Joyce Abbott Primary School, and the Ever Walters Primary School, and our schools were able to place among the top 10 of the 20 plus schools that participated in the meet. And so congratulations to CVS, congratulations to all the other schools on a job well done, and congratulations to the teachers and the parents as well, who would have supported them and the support staff as well. And so we look forward to another Rams Relay Championship next year. Hopefully more of our schools here in Nevis can participate in that event, and it can be an opportunity for other students to participate. Understand that some schools are not able to work with a full team, but nonetheless performances were remarkable. Of course, if you're celebrating a birthday, an anniversary, or any other reason to celebrate this week, it may be the smallest of things, we want to share in your celebrations and to extend congratulations to you. Of course, if you are finding it difficult at this moment, mourning the loss of a friend or a loved one, or just having some challenging times, as usual we extend to you our best wishes and to let you know that our thoughts and our prayers are with you, and as usual I say, continue to hold on to God's unchanging hand. Of course, we are in the throngs of another federal election, and we have seen the activities around us, and gearing up ourselves for an early election and early polls. And of course we would have recognized that the inability of the tripartite community to sort out their businesses or their business in-house and to come to consensus on the way forward for them has resulted in the breakup of that arrangement and the dissolution of Parliament thereafter. And of course we now await the sounding of the bell, as we would say locally, ringing of the bell. It gives an indication as to when the elections, the federal elections, will be held in St. Kitts and Nevis. And you know, it is a golden opportunity for Nevis and for Nevisians to chart a different course, to chart a new course, to grant themselves a new opportunity for success, and to get to rid themselves of of the dysfunction and the lack of progress, and to put themselves in a position to have their representatives function at the optimum best, and to see progression of our people, all our people. And we are hopeful that our message will resonate with the constituents of Nevis 9, 10 and 11, and that they will see, hear and understand that our message is one that speaks to Nevis first. And the hot button topic therein, as Jaedee joins us, and so I'll give her a little chance to settle in and then hear from her. But of course, you know, the hot button topic across St. Kitts and Nevis has been the issue of the quote unquote fair share. And so Jaedee and I will discuss what does the federal election mean for Nevis, what does it mean for divisions, and of course looking at the way forward. Jaedee, another Thursday night, another Speak Up edition.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in for another edition of Speak Up. Good evening, Rohan. It's definitely a pleasure being here. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so sorry to be late. I actually just came from a very interesting meeting. I left when we got to the part of question and answer, because I think I had the information I needed. But I want to pause here and give a shout out to persons working within the Ministry and Department of Education, our teachers and the education officers, because that meeting that I was just a part of had to do with the learning assessments that's coming up, or that are rather coming up for students in grades 4 and 6. And the way that they were able to present that information to us this afternoon / this evening, I was quite impressed. I was really impressed. It was at a federal level, so we had persons on St. Kitts as well as persons on Nevis. We had our principal education officer, Zanella Claxton, speaking, handling herself quite well, and of course the deputy principal education officer, Londa Brown. And I just wanted to give them a shout out. You know, as a parent who is very passionate about education, whenever things aren't going so good, I tell them, they hear from me, they know this. So whenever things are going good, I think it's important to shout them out. So kudos to you guys for the work that you are doing right now. And I know that this is something new that we are trying to do, and you have my fullest support. Let's see it through to the end. It sounds good so far. So I just wanted to put that out there. Yes, Rohan, as you said, we are in an interesting season. Very interesting season. We know that federal elections in St. Kitts and Nevis must be called shortly. So in a matter of weeks, months, but not very many months, we know that we must have a federal election. And with all that is happening, we in Nevis have to ask, what's in it for us on the island of Nevis? I don't think we really had to ask that question like as we have to now, based on all that is happening. But what is really in this for the people of Nevis, Rohan?
Yeah, I mean, as I was, saying before you got in, it's an opportunity now for divisions to change course, to chart a new course, to seek a new direction. We have seen what is possible with this current representation that we have. Of course, they asked us to give them all three. We did that, to strengthen their hand, as they said, and now the operation has no legs to stand on.
Correct.
And so it is for divisions now to see what is in front of them, the inability of three to use their partnership to legislate and to create an agenda that benefits divisions at a federal level, and to assess that and to ask a pertinent question: do we want that going forward? And we are saying that there is another option. There is the NRP option,
Yes.
That is ready to get to work in creating that legislative agenda, the plans and policies that are going to redound directly to the benefit of our people at the federal level.
Yes.
I mean, we have said time and time again that what happens at the federal level, in essence, really should be that gravy, that bonus, because we are intent on developing our local economy to a point where we can create sustained employment, we can have that booming job creation, and get people to a place where we can say, we have done our bit. We have elevated you from A to B or from B to C, because we believe in leaving our people better off than when we meet them. And so that is, for me, the critical part of what is set to happen in this election. Where do you want to go as divisions?
Yes.
And we are hoping that you want to go on an upward trend, and the NRP can do that for you. We have too long been stagnated by the performance or the lack thereof of what we would have seen over the past 7 years. And so, Jaedee, that for me, the question of what is in it for us, it is the opportunity now to move our small island and our people to a new level of prosperity.
I believe strongly that, like many persons, I believe strongly that the relationship between St. Kitts and Nevis has a long way to go. I believe that it has improved some, but there is a long way to go. I am not disputing that, I'm not discounting that. And like many others, I believe that Nevis has not been the recipient of all that we should be the recipients of. I am of that view. No issues here for me. One of the questions I've had to ask myself, though, is why? Why haven't we, to this day, been able to get more? Is it because there are powers that be, or there have been powers that be present and past, that just downright decide nothing for Nevis, or this is as much as Nevis is getting in terms of, I'm not just talking finances, but in terms of other things as well, right? Is that the reason? Is it a situation where we have not been very strong or good in our ability to negotiate and engage our counterparts? Whatever the reason, I don't think we should just throw it aside. I think these are things that we should be asking ourselves. Quite frankly, I think it's a combination of both. And that is why the NRP, the Nevis Reformation Party, is going to contest these federal elections. Because, yes, like others, we believe that Nevis deserves more. It is our right to more, not just financially, but in other ways. But we also believe that we have failed in terms of our ability to successfully negotiate and successfully demand, successfully ensure that the interests of the people of Nevis are well taken care of. I think part of that has to do with our approach, where we're not going forward thinking Nevis first. We're going forward thinking me, I. And because we take that approach of me, I, then Nevis suffers. And when you are a servant of the people, you must understand that the people have to come first. You must. And I think that is one of the reasons why we are in this situation that we are in today, Rohan. And so I believe that the slate of candidates that the Nevis Reformation Party has at the local and federal levels will be able to ensure that there is better dialogue. We can't force people. We can't make them do things. But we believe that our approach is going to be welcomed by any side. Our approach is going to be welcomed because we are the party of inclusion. We are the party with a proven track record of putting Nevisians first.
Yep.
We are not all of self and none of thee. That is not the history. That has not been the track record of the Nevis Reformation Party. And so for those out there who are saying it doesn't make sense to vote in the federal elections, I tell you no. We must vote in a federal election, because we cannot give up on the people of Nevis. We cannot give up on ourselves, and the NRP is not giving up on the people of Nevis. Rohan, another thing I want people to recognize and understand, that because I don't necessarily do things your way, it doesn't mean that I am not working.
Exactly.
It does not mean that I am not working. You understand? You may get up at mornings, Rohan, and plan out your day and say, at this time I'm going to do this, and you have it penned down to the last minute. Whereas I don't do that, but I get my work done. It doesn't mean I'm not working. So for example, while some have been asking for Nevis to get its fair share of CBI monies, and I have no issues with that whatsoever, none. But while some have been asking, we must remember that there were some who asked that every single child in secondary school have a laptop so that he or she can do the work. And this was years ago, before we were in the situation that we are in now, where we are so heavily dependent and reliant on the laptop computers and the digital world. So not because people aren't doing the same things you are doing means that work is not being done. What say you, Rohan?
Yeah, and I agree, because in growing up, they say there are many different ways. So in maths, there are different ways to get to the correct answer.
Yes.
And my grandmother would say there are different paths to the same destination.
Yes.
And I agree with you. It's not because you're not doing it the way you're doing it. Doesn't mean that we are not supporting the end result.
Correct.
And we have said consistently, time and time again, that we agree that Nevisians and Nevis should get what is rightfully theirs. And as you said, and as you have said rightfully, that over the years we have seen an increase in how the partnership or the relationship works, but it is not yet at that level where we can say comfortably that regardless of who is leading the island of Nevis, we are certain that whatever is supposed to be ours will be ours.
Yes.
And that is the direction the NRP is looking to go. That we have set into law whatever the arrangements are supposed to be, and to have that in such a way that it allows for future governments here in Nevis to make amendments to suit the times in which the island find itself. And that is the position we are establishing. Of course, we are all about our people benefiting from whatever receipts that comes into the federation, and that should be shared between St. Kitts and Nevis. It just doesn't mean that we're not looking to take that hard and abrasive approach to certain things, and not trying to hold anybody at ransom.
Correct.
We simply believe that there is a better way of doing it, one that is clear, so that all sides understand, and that the purpose for whatever we are setting out is really designed to benefit families and individuals here in Nevis. And we don't want to be in a position where what we are doing seems to be counting negatively against anybody else.
Correct.
I believe that there is enough for us to get equal and equity in the sharing department of our revenues, and that is where we want to go, and we want to do things that at the end of the day, and I said it before, that we can look back and say what we did really was for the benefit of Nevisians. And our party has done that time and time again. I'm sure I've come here and I've laid out how the NRP has always been the party in time of need that has come to the rescue of the island of Nevis, and we are setting ourselves to do that again. Yes.
And finally, as we wrap up this topic and switch to another slightly different topic, I just want to remind our people that even in our quest to ensure that Nevis gets its fair share, using the term that's being used, of CBI receipts, and again, Rohan and I are saying we have no issues there. In our quest to do that, we cannot ignore that we still have a duty to do the work here on the island of Nevis. And so everything that comes to the island of Nevis and everything that comes out of the island of Nevis cannot be solely dependent on what happens across the waters. It cannot. We will not put Nevis or make Nevis a welfare state. It will not happen. No. Why not give me a job that I can make a little 200, 300, you call it small money, dollars every week, every month, a 2,000, 3,000, whatever. Why not give me a job that I can make $2,000 a month, and I am sure of that 2,000, as small as it may seem to some, than come every 5 years and give me $2,000. It is the same thing. Why not put projects and programs in place on the island of Nevis so that we can be sustaining ourselves, so that when we get that assistance, when we get that money from the St. Kitts end and those resources from the St. Kitts end that belong to us, yes, we can use that for some investment. We can use that as top up. We can use that as top up. Rohan, before you were married, right? I remember a time, Joanna, go sleep. I remember a time when, go back. If a young lady wanted her hair done and she came to you, right? And the hairstyle is $100. How many times do you think she really asked you for $100, Rohan, and the hairstyle is $100?
Good point.
Okay. You understand? We're gonna ask for a little bit more. We want that little top up, just in case. You never know, we might want a swoop that we didn't see before. You understand?
I might end up changing the hairstyle.
You might change the hairstyle altogether. John, I'm giving you ideas for tomorrow, eh? And so that is what I'm saying. You know, we a light moment, but the reality is what happens there should be a top up. That could be an investment. And so yes, we welcome it because it is ours. But we do not want Nevis to be a welfare state. I do not want our people forever and ever, amen, being on a pep and a step program. I do not want our people forever and ever, amen, receiving a handout because they aren't able to make it. We want to put you in a state where you are fine. You don't need it. Anything else that comes your way is a top up. That is what we want on the Nevis Reformation Party. You think I want to go to the supermarket all the time and have to add on the $5 for you? I want you to be in a position and say, Jaedee, you're very short in the $5 here. That is what we want. That is what we want, and that is what the NRP wants to deliver for you locally and federally. Switching to election promises, because many will come, Rohan.
Oh yeah, they started.
They started already.
They started.
The other day, somebody asked me how far I was. I was to give them a lift, and I was describing the area, and they had no idea. And so I took a picture. You know, technology. I took a picture. I sent them the picture. I was a little bit up past Island Tires in a place up there. And the person said, oh, you buy the remaining 5%. I didn't realize that's the nickname now. I didn't realize that's the new name of a place in Nevis, the remaining 5%. And I wondered what it is they were talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, there will be a lot of election promises. There will be a lot of election promises. When people know that they have failed you for years, they are going to come at in the last shower of rain and try to sweeten the deal. Rohan, what have you seen over these years?
I mean, they promise you the world. Jaedee, interestingly enough, I remember making a statement early on in our campaign, and I got taken to task for it. And what I said has become the reality. In that we were so dependent on that which we thought, or which is rightfully ours, coming, that we really didn't do anything locally.
Yes.
And now we are seeing what happens when that kind of thought process is put into practice.
Yes.
And if we were really looking out for the people, we would have said, listen, even though that is ours, we have a responsibility directly to our people by ensuring that our economy and that our country is moving forward. And that didn't happen. And so you bank wholly on one thing and then you fall out. We are seeing the reality of what I was trying to say.
Yes.
The promises are going to come fast and furious. Of course, we have seen that there's a promise of 10% over the next 2 years. And that is a great promise to make, except that we don't intend to allow you to make it, because UNRP is looking to retain government and to put our people in a better position, to do an honest review of what is happening, and to, as we said before, to make sure our economy is working for our people. That is fundamentally what needs to be done, to make sure our economy is working for our people. And then we take the top up to make investments. And so 10-15 years down the line, your children and your grandchildren can benefit from those kind of things. That employment is always available to you. We ought to get to a place in these situations where we turning down job applications from outside because we exceeding the amount that we have. Listen, Jaedee, we've got to look at our promises and our performances.
Yes.
And when you look at the promises and the performances of the current administration, it should tell you it equals to naught. When you look at the performances and the commitments of the Nevis Reformation Party, clearly you're going to see that it redounds to your benefit every single time. This NRP administration, this NRP party, has always brought the goods to the people. And there's no denying that. It is clear to see, and we can go back and bring all the examples out there. We're not going to come with any empty promises. We are coming with commitments that are founded on sound plans and policies, that has track records of working and putting our people to work, and that is what we ought to be looking at in this election.
People understand that pretty soon the NRP will, in greater numbers and with more force, outline what we seek to do for you at the local and federal levels. People have been asking, and yes, we give you a bit here, we give you a bit there, and I want our people to listen. I don't want you to be out there thinking, oh, we're just talking about what is not happening. We are telling you what we will not do and what we will do. But you will get it in a formalized, structured way soon. Understand that. But we just want you to understand that you owe no administration your future. You don't owe the Concerned Citizens Movement anything. It doesn't matter if your grandmother, your mother, your father, all of these people in your family have voted for the Concerned Citizens Movement. If you are not seeing, you are not reaping the benefits of this administration, it's time to jump ship. It's time to jump ship. So they will come and they will do your road in the 11th hour. They will come and give you a fence in the 11th hour. They will come and be godfather to your children in the 11th hour. They will suddenly find a job for you now in the 11th hour. Some of them will go on Facebook and sing for their supper in the 11th hour. You have to know that you cannot allow anyone who is doing this to put themselves in a better position to determine the future of you and your children. You have to understand that. So don't let anybody who is building homes and having big businesses at no cost to them tell you who to vote for. Don't let people who never pay an electricity bill or have not paid electricity bill in ages tell you who to vote for when yours getting cut every month. You're mad. Don't let people who eat in 5-diamond, 5-star restaurants and hotels every week or every day tell you who to vote for when you can't even put rice and beef. Well, not even beef, because beef expensive now. When you can't even cook the basic for your children. People, think for yourselves. Think for yourselves. And we are winding down. We have just about a minute to go. Rohan, your final words.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it is incredible, or it is impossible to live a life of struggle for 4 years. And even greater because of the pandemic we've had since 2020. Suffering. Getting no help at all. And then magically an election is upon us and here comes all the help in the world. Yes. That can't be real help.
Yes.
That cannot be real help. And we want to say to you that we want to put you in a position where you can be stable and that you're making a decision based on facts and not on emotions when it comes to an election time.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are out of time. We'll be here next week. Before I go, I just want to extend condolences to the Richardson family in St. Paul's. They lost a gem. We're so sorry for their loss, and we want all of our people to comfort them during this difficult time. This has been Speak Up, and I am Jaedee Caines, and as always, I've been joined by Rohan Isles. Have a good evening.
Join Jaedee Caines and Rohan Isles this and every Thursday on the Caribbean's powerhouse, Von Radio, for Speak Up, a social commentary talk show that addresses the state of affairs on Nevis. Expect great conversations, different perspectives, and an all-inclusive approach to moving Nevis forward. Tune in. It's time for us to speak up.
The views and opinions expressed on the preceding program were solely those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Nevis Broadcasting Company Limited or its advertisers.
You're listening to Von Radio from the Federation of St. Kitts Nevis.
This time